Now here's a deal, let's jump right into the numbers so you can understand where we're coming from. You don't believe me? Let's check the facts. Average new car in America today costs $37,000. Compare that with a used car that's 20 grand. Average car payment in America for a new car, $550. What? That's the average for a new car in America. That is your money driving away. Used car, that's $390. Now, if you say, hey, look, I just like to lease, man. I don't buy cars, I just lease my car. Average lease payment, $450. Now, here's the catch with the lease. If you got a lease, that's a payment for life. Every 2 or 3 years, you get a new fancy ride, but that's payment, that's payment, that's payment every single year of your life. Now, here's the deal. Depreciation. A car is a depreciating asset. Did you know that? Did you know that cars go down in value as you drive it down the road? First year of a new car, it'll go down 30%. So if you bought a car, $37,000, depreciates 30% the first year. After that, it's a used car. Then it starts to depreciate 15% per year. After 5 years of having a car, your car will depreciate 60%. Next, we got compound interest. This might be my favorite thing with investing. This is your money making money and your interest making interest and your money making interest and your interest making money. Albert Einstein once said compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who does not pays it. Pretty profound stuff right there from Albert Einstein. That's compound interest. Next, you got diversification. This is where you spread risk among different asset classes. You know how they say don't put all your eggs in one basket? Well, that's diversification. There we go. The next thing we got is dividend. Dividend is what a company's earnings are paid to shareholders. That's collecting dividends. Next up, Dow Jones. These are the 30 largest blue chip stocks on the stock market. So you know when they say the market did this today, and the market went up today, or the market went down today, they're usually talking about what the Dow Jones did. The stock market, that's the Dow. The average home value in America today is somewhere between $250,000 and $300,000, depending on where you live. Speaking of where you live, it's all about location, 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 location. Let's get into some of the most expensive and least expensive places that you can live. So the least expensive place, the cheapest place that you can live is in West Virginia. Sorry, Mountaineers. You can buy a place in West Virginia for $108,000. Wah, wah, pretty cheap there. I don't know if you want to live in West Virginia, though. However, the most expensive state to live in is the beautiful islands of Hawaii. To buy a house there, it's $635,000. That ain't cheap, baby. We talk about Biden being old. He's 75, 76. We talk about Trump being old. He's 72, 73. Freaking 90 years old, Warren Buffett. 96, Charlie Munger. But number one, I do think he's still pretty sharp, and I do think he's making some of the calls, not all of them. I went and found out who his next in line are. You got Greg Abel, who is the essentially VP or co-chairman or executive chairman. He's age 56. Mark Hamburg, CFO, 69. Ajit Jain, 67. So he's got a younger bench in their 50s and 60s. Who are likely kind of doing a little more of the heavy lifting and saying, hey, I mean, think about it. Warren Buffett and these guys, they were investing in McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Dairy Queen, insurance companies. Some of these younger guys in their 50s, 60s are probably saying, look, we might need to start considering tech.
Was there a big bang moment for passive investing?
So that was one of the key catalysts, right? So that period, 95, 96, the beginning of what Greenspan referred to as irrational exuberance. In my analysis, this is largely tied to the growth of passive investing and the use of those futures. And just very quickly, the reason why that happened was because the indices were improperly constructed at the time. They were built on what's called a market cap weighted basis, which means that you're trying to buy shares in proportion to the total shares outstanding. The unique feature of the 1990s was that you had a number of large market cap, low float companies that had what we used to refer to as high levels of insider ownership. And so these would be companies like Walmart and Microsoft and Cisco and Dell.
Founder of Spotify, Daniel Ek, said he would invest €1 billion, $1.2 billion of his personal fortune in deep tech moonshot projects spread across over 10 years. He indicated that he was referring to machine learning, biotechnology, material sciences, and energy as the sectors he'd like to invest in. I want to do my part. We all know that one of the greatest challenges is access to capital. He said, adding he wanted to achieve a new European dream, meaning similar to the American dream, he wants to create a Silicon Valley and start a European dream. I get really frustrated when I see European entrepreneurs giving up on their dreams, amazing vision, selling early onto non-European companies, or when some of the most promising tech talent in Europe leaves because they don't feel valued here. We need more super companies that raise the bar and can act as an inspiration.
I love America. I'm all about capitalism. I'm all about everything USA, but there is a problem. And within the education system, here it is. We all go to school. We all take the same useless classes. Algebra, biology, chemistry, trigonometry. No money classes. What's up with that? No money classes. So I've set on a mission to simplify money and find out exactly what you need to know when it comes to money. And here's what I've uncovered. The key to money is understanding these 6 principles of wealth. So before we get going on these 6 principles of wealth, I'm gonna ask you a question. If you were chilling with money, I'm talking chilling like a villain, what would you be doing with your free time? Answer that. Before I continue, think about what would you be doing if you were chilling with money? Do you have an answer? Does something pop into your head? Does some glaring answer come out? If not, you need to reassess what you're doing. So here's my point. Before you can figure out where you're going, you need to figure out where you wanna end up. And the goal is to end up chilling with money. The goal is to end up chilling with money so you can win the money game.
Uber and Lyft,
This
they
week,
were
yes.
upset about the fact that California mandates that they move their employees from 1099, their drivers, to W-2. And you and I talked about it a little bit, and you said, what's the benefit of being W-2? The benefits, all this other stuff. And I said, the person that's going to get the worst hit is who?
The
We said,
customer.
the customers. So here's what happened. Uber and Lyft, you ready for this? Uber and Lyft might be leaving the state of California. Okay, let me say this one more time. They might be leaving the state of California. Uber and Lyft have lost their bid to delay a preliminary injunction that will force the 2 ride-hailing app companies to reclassify drivers as employees. The California Superior Court judge denied Thursday the company's request to delay the order from going into effect August 20th. As this legal challenges are taking place, Uber and Lyft are also aiming to build support for Prop 22, a measure that voters will have a chance to approve or reject in the November elections. Anyways, long story short, these guys are just saying we cannot do it.
Semiconductors in Taiwan. There's a very practical reason that China wants to keep such a stronghold as well. What is that relationship?
Yeah, so one of the reasons Taiwan's being talked about now, or it hasn't really gotten that much press in terms of, will Beijing invade or blockade it? Part of this is because when one country, 2 systems fell in Hong Kong, it basically destroyed the model that China had been promising Taiwan if it just came back under the fold. Hey, look, we'll let you be, just trust us. And now Hong Kong has shown that model doesn't work. And so there is no longer a workable model for Taiwan to look at. They are an independent country, or they will be a conquered Chinese province. There's really no in between anymore. So that was a serious change in the way that I think the Taiwanese have looked at their future. But like you said, semiconductors are another piece of the puzzle. The most important semiconductor company in the world right now is probably Taiwan Semiconductor. They make all the chips that Huawei and others use in all their devices worldwide. So yes, in their phones, but the real ones that are important are in 5G base stations.
The problem is that people don't understand the concept of saving money before you buy something.
That's right.
I've talked about this on my webcast. There's a incredibly funny, but just a golden nugget of a clip from Saturday Night Live from years ago. It's when Steve Martin was on the show.
Oh gosh.
And it's absolutely perfect. It's this couple is in the kitchen. Steve Martin and I can't remember, Jane something, or I think her name was and they're in the kitchen table fretting over their credit card bills. And what are we going to do? We're all this debt. And all of a sudden this guy shows up, comes on camera, and he goes, "Read my book." And he goes, it's called "Don't Buy Stuff You Can't Afford." They're like, "What?
I don't understand.
What does that mean?" And he goes, "Well, look at page 1. Don't save money before you buy something." I go, "Save money?"
Yep.
And he goes, well, wait a minute. If I don't have the money but I want something, I can buy it, right? And he goes, "No, you can't buy it." Really?
Yep.
And then he says, "But where are you supposed to get all of this saved money?"
Yep.
It's an absolutely classic sketch.
Yeah, I'll never forget
sketch.
what my current doctor and favorite medical doctor once said, Danielle, don't look at diets. If you want to lose weight, eat less. He's like,
Eat less and exercise more.
It's pretty simple.